Welcome and thank you for signing up for Evalinator. In this video, I wanted to quickly walk you through some of the key aspects of selecting and getting set up with your assessment and some key features so you can get started. Of course, if you've got more questions, you can always reach us by email, look at our blog website on the how-to guides, um, or obviously submit a request using the help button here. So we are always here to help you customize it. So when you log in, you'd first want to create an assessment. So there are several templates available. Wheel of Life, if you'd like to use one of the templates, there are some personality assessments, the Big Five, the DISC assessment, character strengths, everything is included as part of your subscription. And then obviously you can select any of the scored assessments as well. But for today, let's start with creating a new assessment. So if you already know what kind of assessment you want to create and you've used it once offline, you have a spreadsheet with a list of questions, then obviously you would start with create new and get started. But if you don't have a good idea of the details of the assessment, but you know the broad topic, then you would start with create with AI. So you would give it a description, you would say who you're creating it for, and then obviously you would then let the AI create the first version for you, which you can then edit. So it's a great way to get started without getting bogged down with the writer's block. But if you're like most experts, you already know what you want to create, and you've done it a couple of times offline, so you know the kind of questions. So you would start with create new. In our case, let's start with say, what's your digital maturity. So I come from the consulting background, so I always default to consulting. But what's your digital maturity, for example? And then you would select a scored assessment. Type or personality assessment are great for getting leads. Say, for example, what's your leadership style, or what kind of a digital leader are you, etc. So those induce a lot of curiosity. So personality assessments or type assessments are great for lead generation. So if you're doing that, then obviously you can create a personality assessment. But in most cases, for typical coaching and consulting, you would like to go with a scored assessment to get a good sense of where your respondent is today. And so you can help them towards meeting their goals. So in our case, we would create a scored assessment and continue. And it'll give a second, then I'll walk you through some of the key features. Okay, so when the assessment is created, it takes you to the editor. And there are a couple of things. So first is it starts with a start page, a landing page. So this is what you would use when you don't have a great website, or you would want this to be a standalone page on your website. So then you will customize this to your liking, and you can customize it by clicking here. You can add sections, add new sections, or you can edit the sections that you have. So hero banner, you want it to look a little different, so you can create image on top, the button at the bottom, or you can create different layouts. So image on the right, button left, etc. And then you can obviously put in text as you would like. And then you can either show a button on this or not show a button. Most of you would show a button on this on the banner. You can show the chart. So this is the result of everybody who's taken the assessment so far. Some people want to show it to introduce curiosity. Most people don't. So you can either show it or not. And then obviously you can customize it by saying what's the default, what's the chart type that you need, etc. And then you can change the title as well, or you can just hide it. So in that case, we don't need it, right? And you can add more sections. So if you want to add custom sections, you can add a page section, custom page section, which you can customize, or you can add testimonials. And I wanted to show you this. So testimonials quickly on a landing page, they really help. So even though you may have it on your website, you may want to show them on the assessment page. So in which case, you would then, customize the testimonials right here. And then you can have, titles, descriptions, etc. If you've got just one testimonial, then on the other two testimonials, you just say, I don't want the other testimonials to be visible. And then you can hide them. So only one testimonial would be, and you can customize the text, etc., and the logo as well. So this is really helpful. This is the landing page of your assessment. So let's close this. Let's close the start page. And I wanted to quickly show you the registration page. So this is where you collect email addresses or contact information from people who are taking your assessment. So you can either have this before the questions and you can have it mandatory. And also when somebody provides an email address, you may want to verify that email address before they can proceed. This is great for avoiding junk email addresses or people who are just taking it who are not serious. So if you're an expert, most likely you want serious respondents because they are the most qualified prospects for you. So you can, set this to true and make sure that they verify their email address before they can proceed. Um, so that's how you would do it. And then these are the links to your assessment. So you can send them a direct link. This is generally on evalinator.com, as you can see here, right? So if you have on your own website and you want your own branding, then you would use one of the white labeling URLs. You would use a iframe, or there are a few other methods to white label it, which are on the how-to guides. So if you go to our website, there's a blog on how to embed your assessment on your own website. And this gives you a couple of nice options. So you can always maintain your branding instead of the Evalinator branding. That's done. Then you've got the results page. This is, you can customize the results page as well as you'd like. So each section can be customized, colors can be customized, the content can be customized. You can show the score section, not show the score section. You can show the maximum score or not. And you can also define how it looks. So you can also show a speedometer, for example, instead of a circle. Some people like the speedometer a lot. So you could use that. Um, and then you can obviously customize all of the sections. So you can show them the chart, and this chart is, you can customize the chart again. So you might want to show a wheel for each question, or you might want to show a pie chart. In this case, pie chart doesn't look that great. You can show the legend, you can hide the legend, etc. Here is another interesting thing. You can show average scores. So when people are taking your assessment, say a bar, you can include average scores, which says you scored in the colored bars are your score, but this is how everybody else who's taken the assessment so far has scored. So this is something very nice to show to your respondents, so they can not only see how they scored, but also how they are scoring with respect to other people who've taken the assessment. Yeah, and you can also show comparison from previous screens. So you can say, show my previous scores. So in this case, let's hide the average scores, for example. Show the previous scores. And then it would say, you scored right now, you scored 2. Last time when you took the assessment, you scored a 5. So this is really good for coaching and consulting. When you're working with the client one-on-one, you're letting them take the assessment today, for example, then you're letting them take the assessment 2 months from now, and now you're looking at their score. So it's great to show the value that you are bringing and also to show the priorities of the client as well. So that's how you would do it. And then I wanted to show you one other thing on this page. You can have goals. So for each assessment in Evalinator, you have a option for goals. So every time they take an assessment, you can help them set a goal. So either they can set a goal themselves, or you can set a goal with a target. So this keeps you engaged with the client. So you can say, hey, you scored pretty low on question 1. So let's focus on question 1 for the next 10 days, right? Focus on Q1. And here is what I would like you to do for the next 30 days. So you can set this goal for the client, right? And then you can say, okay, till the 28th of December, let's meet again. Say you're meeting them again on, say, in January. So you can say, let's meet in January. Um, and on January 20th, say, for example, and then I'd like to meet you again, and let's look at your progress. And you can add this goal. And then you can, so this is a great way for the clients as well as for you to start working. And this can be either at the assessment level, or if you don't want to show it at the assessment level, you can show it by um, in the question section as well. So here you can say show goal setting. So now they've got the score on the question. They've got a description of the question, which we haven't set up in this one, but you've got a description of feedback, and then here are goals. So all of the question 1 goals which start showing up here. So that's how you can manage goal setting and progress with your customers. Yeah, other than that, I wanted to show you a couple more things. How do you customize the questions? So your questions can be of different types. Um, for each question, you have multiple options. So you can give them a mandatory question. If you want to shuffle your questions so everybody sees different questions every time they land in different order, you can say you can set shuffle and you can exclude a question from shuffle. Say if it's the information question right at the beginning, so you don't want that shuffled, so you'll say exclude from shuffle. You can also request additional comments. So slider questions don't give you that much information. So you can say, I want to request additional comments. So when somebody scores a 8, I want them to tell me why they selected an 8. What made them select an 8, for example. You can also obviously give them an importance. So you can say you scored a 9. How important is this question to you? So they can select this important score and they can obviously give you this option as well, or you can remove the additional comments. So that's how you can set this, and you can obviously modify the slider as you'd like. You can set the labels as well for the slider. So in this case, we had a standard. Instead of that, we want to show them, um, you know, low, medium, high, for example. So here is now they would see low, medium, and high. So this is how you would customize your set questions. You can obviously set up feedback text for each question. So in this was a slider question, you can say if somebody scores greater than 0 but less than 5, I want to show them this feedback. So custom feedback for score between 1 and 5, right? So this would be the score, and that they would see it on the results page, as well as there's another option here. So you can show them the question feedback immediately after they respond. So this is okay for small assessments. Every time they answer something, you give them a question feedback, and that feedback will come from the page that we just were on. So from this feedback. You can obviously set up dimensions. So sometimes people want your all questions to be grouped into dimensions or categories. So you would do that here. These are your rating bands. So if somebody, like we saw on the results page, um, they scored 36, that was the default type 3. So you could obviously set that right here and you could guide them on how you would want their scores to look like. So here you would say excellent, and then you can set a score. So if you scored between 80% and 100%, I want to show this rating band. And you can obviously also ignore the results page altogether, and you can say, I want anybody who scores excellent or between 80% and 100%, I want them to be redirected to my website. Um, uh, you know, so they bypass the results page altogether and go back to your website. Other than that, I wanted to show you colors. So here is how you can customize the colors. This is how you would customize, say, for example, your button is a green style. So you would then set up your button colors accordingly. You would show your heading colors accordingly. You would show your rating band colors. Say, for example, default type 1 was excellent. So we showed it in green. Default type 2 is in the middle, so it's amber. Default type 3 was bottom, so it's red, for example. So that's how you would do it. And then for each question as well, you can set assessment, a set. If you're displaying results by question, then you might want to customize these colors as well. And then you save the changes, and then everywhere on your assessment now you see that your, um, the chart has the new colors now. So that's how it works. And you go back to the settings again. Here is where you can set integrations. So every time somebody takes an assessment, you can send them to your favorite marketing automation tool, and we support several of them. And obviously, if one is not listed here, you can set them up through Zapier. So every time somebody takes an assessment, immediately Zapier will then send your respondent details to the marketing automation platform of your choice. And if you want us to integrate directly, just let us know, and then we'll try our best to get that direct integration to you as well. Yeah, that's all. And here is on the points tab is where you can scale. Right now we saw 10 slider levels. If you want only 5 slider levels, then you can obviously make some of them as -1 or delete them, and then you'll see only 5 slider levels. So that's basically how you set up your assessment. And we are always here for you on your dashboard. You can see the latest responses. So in this case, our cloud maturity, you can click on this analytics button right here, and it starts giving you your respondents. So these are the respondents so far. Here are the results so far. So obviously this is a dummy response, so it's not showing up. You can always do question response analysis across 10 respondents. So, 100% of the people responded with a three in this case. There was only one response. But this is great for you to share insights on social media as well, consolidated, aggregated insights that you have on the assessment. And then you can do the same for dimensions. In this case, we don't have dimensions. Oh, we had five dimensions. So strategy, infrastructure. So we had four dimensions, and you can see how everybody scored. The top score, average score, and low score, right? So that's how, and this is great for sharing insights on social media as well and with your clients. Just one other feature I wanted to show you was the social media management. So this is a new feature where a lot of the experts, we build assessments, we are doing our job, but then we get bogged down and we are unable to raise brand awareness as much as we would like to. So this one does it for you, this tool. You can generate your posts and then it generates a post in multiple categories automatically using AI. So it says why assessment. So this is, why should you be taking this assessment or why is this topic important? So there's a post on that. There's a post on various question combinations. So in this case, cloud native development and platform guidelines. Some insights and tips. Here is what, if you're struggling with cloud security, which is one of the topics in your assessment, right? Then here is some tips for you, etc. So you can generate more posts from here and you can automatically schedule them so long as you can easily configure it. And these are all done through Zapier. So this button is what you use right on top to set up your integration. And then there is a button right here which will help you schedule your post at the time that you want on one of these channels or one or more of these channels. And then you can obviously edit this. If you don't like what the AI generated for you, you can obviously edit this before you post it on LinkedIn. So we think this is great. You can set it up for the whole month, for example. Say one post on December 1st, then again another one on 7th, another one on 14th, 21st, 28th. So you can cover your whole month. So that way your social media post is always, social media channels are never barren. They'll always have something in the pipeline. So that's all I wanted to share with you today. Please feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions at all. We are here to help you customize your assessment and get it ready, and obviously help you promote it as best as we can. And thank you so much, and looking forward to working with you.